Welcome to Transforming with Us,
where we talk about
all things trans and queer. Welcome to Transforming with Us,
where we talk about
all things trans and queer.
So thank you so much for joining me with Transforming with Drew, where we talk about everything TQIA and then some. And how is everybody doing? Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, my name is Chelsea.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris.
All right.
And we are LBC Party of 5. That's what we go by.
All right, yes, you can find them on Instagram and on TikTok. Keep forgetting about TikTok's name, but you can find them. And is there any other platforms that you're on if anybody else wants to find you?
That's pretty much the Instagram and the TikTok, and then you can find everything else from that. We have everything linked.
Yeah.
But those are our main platforms that we go on.
Okay. And Chelsea, Chris, would you want to tell them the story about how you met like you told me, or do you want to... Who wants to tell?
Okay, you can take this one.
Short version. Okay, so it's going to be, it's the same. But, okay, so basically is it echoing for you?
No, it's not echoing.
Okay. I worked part-time at a club that had an LGBT night. He frequently came to my establishments, and we connected only because my boss that was trying to get with his sister wanted me to talk to him to kind of be like the wingman.
Right.
So I was technically paid to talk to him. He wasn't someone that I normally would. We were not each other's types.
Right.
It's fair to say. We were not each other's types. But after that introduction, we talked, connected.
Mm-hmm.
But he was with someone at the time, so was I. But when he ended up breaking up with his girlfriend, or you planned a breakup?
I didn't plan a breakup.
You did something that you knew would result in a breakup.
I started a fight.
Yeah.
I started a fight. I took the cowardly way out of the relationship, so I started a fight, and then that relationship was terminated on her end. And then...
same day? Or was it that same day or next day?
It was like 2 days after. I healed.
For 2 days.
I healed, and then, it kind of progressed from there.
Right.
Okay, so he wasn't your type at all. And now he wasn't your type, and now you're together. Now you're married, right?
I know.
Yeah. Married for a while, yeah.
So how long have you guys been married?
We've been married since 2010.
Oh, wow.
Long time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's beautiful.
Had a long engagement.
Yeah. We had a 2-year engagement, and then we got married in 2010.
Okay, that's beautiful, though, because you don't really hear a lot of people in this day and age and lasting that much anymore. It's like they're always, something's broken, buy a new house, and it's like, that's not the way it works. So it's really nice to hear that you guys, that you both, pardon, I say you guys because it's a Southern thing, but you both have been able to maintain that type of relationship. And Chris, did you transition during the relationship, or were you starting to transition in the beginning?
I started, what was it? I started medically transitioning in 2016.
Okay.
So that was about 8 years in.
Right, yeah. Because it was right after Carter.
Right. It was, Carter was our daughter. She was 10 months old when I started to medically transition.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So that way she gets to grow up with Eddie.
Exactly.
I love that. I absolutely love that. How did you feel about your transition process? Like, how did you come to discuss that? Because I know I had to have that discussion with my wife after we got married too, and it's not always an easy discussion. It's kind of like, hey, maybe you were right. Well, for me, I had to tell her she was right, and that's always hard to admit. So, how did you both go through that? Because clearly, I can see you guys are clearly in love. It's adorable. I love seeing this energy.
The love eyes, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
That's what my mom calls it. It's like, oh, you guys, the love birds, the love eyes. So my, I guess, realization to being trans was like a long time, which is pretty much everybody's experience. I didn't really have the terminology or the language to express how I was feeling. I would always classify myself as a hybrid. Like, I never liked, being described as a woman. I wasn't like, oh, I'm a grown woman. Like, those weren't the
descriptors that you use ever.
No, ever. And then when I was 30, I went with a friend to LGBT, what was it? It was like a healthcare expo.
Oh, wow.
And then, it was just, all walks of life. Everybody was there. And I just remember sitting there with my friend, and they're talking about, trans people. And then there was an older woman. She was, masculine in presentation, but, identified as a female. And then I remember looking at my friend. I was like, if I don't do something, not really knowing what that was at the time, that's what I'm going to look like. And I was like, no, I don't want to exist anymore in this body in this way. And then from there, it was like, the frantic YouTube search, what is this? Like, what's going on? And then when I came to kind of get a grasp on it myself, that's when I kind of like had a panic. Like I felt like the clock was running out, and then I just kind of had to, that's how I presented it to Chelsea. Like, time's running out. I need to transition. I'm a man. Like, I'm doing this. I don't care what's going on. She's like, whoa, like, what are you talking about? Like, so I had to like get her up to speed. Yeah. And then once we did that, we went to couples therapy to, have a safe space, go over our fears, our concerns. And then we went ahead with the medical transition.
And see, I think is the right thing, because like I kind of feel like sometimes there are misconceptions with trans people. We know, so now you just have to accept it. And it's like, no, we have to slow down a little bit, because even though we do know, not everybody always 100% knows. I mean, and people still have to come to terms with it. And I know my dad still sometimes has problems with even my name and stuff. So it's like, and I know it's gonna take time, because it's like it's a new thing. But I agree with you. I mean, I'm older too, so I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, clock's running out. Like I kind of like, I need to do this. I can't do it anymore. I mean, I can't run. They hurt. Like I can't do this. I can't look at that. And I just like little meltdown. And then it's like you unload. So it's kind of like that. And I really love that you talked about going into couples therapy, because I think it's very important for people to understand that it's a beautiful avenue to do, especially when things in transition or even just communication in general. So I really commend on that. And Chelsea, how are you feeling during this whole process too?
Well, after the initial, when he presented it that way, because like you said, it was a frantic, and it was, he basically put it to me like, I don't care if I'm going to lose you. And this is after the baby too. We just had a baby, and it took a long time for us to get pregnant. We went through a lot. So I'm like, after I did all of this, you're going to tell me you don't care if you lose me and the kid, you just going to leave? I was like, that don't make, like, what are we doing?
That doesn't make any sense.
For me, initially, I was like, WTF? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, so after that initial, we were able to talk, and he explained exactly what it is that he needed in order to go for it. I was like, okay, well, I can. I was always open-minded to. I wanted to be able to be okay with it.
Yeah.
But so that's why I'm the one that made it like a necessity that we needed to go or have like a counselor that we can both go to. Like we each had our separate already, but we just I needed to have that safe space, because I didn't want his communication was not the best.
Yeah.
Like even that, like it was not the best. So I knew that we needed to have a common ground, right? Safe place where we can both discuss, like openly, honestly, and have that guardrail up just to keep us on the right track. Because my goal and his goal, we knew, was to still stay together.
Yeah. Despite
whatever changes were going to take place. So, like I said, once we got to that point, I can't imagine. I don't even recall even looking at old pictures of us. I'm like, this doesn't look like us. It doesn't. Yeah. So even like my memories from before with, him presenting as a female, like I only see him as he is now.
That's
and I wouldn't have it any other way. Even though I'm still holding on to my lesbian identity.
Right.
So that's funny that you say that though, because my wife is the same way. She, we saw a video of me back in 2019-18 or something, and I'm doing like some workshop, and my voice is, I'm not going to be surprised if I sound like Barry Manilow at the end of my transition, because it keeps dropping and I don't know when it's going to stop, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. But every like German male in my family has super deep voices, so I'm like kind of nervous about that. But But it's like, she's the same way. She's like, I just can't, it just doesn't make sense. It's you who you are now. And I agree 100%. My transition does not change the fact that woman will always be a lesbian, because even if I did not exist, she'd be going after women. So like, I'm just I just happen to be the exception, and I know there's a lot of trans people who bring on that toxic masculinity to be like, well, my transition invalidates the other person. So I actually really commend that, because I'm probably one of the few people that I know actually that's, if you feel like that. I know my boss like feels like that too. So it's really nice to see that. And in my eyes, you are a lesbian. That's pretty much what it is. That's how you identify. I respect that. Same thing with my wife. And that doesn't invalidate me, because I don't think it invalidates you at all, Chris, because we know who we are. We don't need anybody else to say that. So I absolutely love that. So do you have just the one kid?
No, I had 2 older ones from another, relationship.
Hence the 5.
So they're older. They're basically grown. My oldest just turned 20 yesterday, and my middle child, she'll be 18 in September.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And then we have the 6.5-year-old. Yeah.
That's awesome. But that explains the 5. I'm a little slow. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's the animals. And people also don't talk about how hard it is to have kids when you are in a relationship where you need help, because I know a lot of couples struggle with that. And so I'm, congratulations on, getting your baby. I know that's what probably wasn't an easy journey for you at all. So thank you for telling me about that too. And what would you say right now, Chris, for you was the most freeing moment for you when you finally when you were able to start the testosterone? Did you go through top surgery? What was that? What was the most freeing moment? Was it your voice? Because I know for me, my biggest freeing moment, I guess, was honestly when I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, this came out of nowhere. I love my mustache. That was my freeing moment.
I'm still trying to get eyebrows. In all honesty,
you're trying to get eyebrows. I'm trying to tell mine that they're not soulmates. I keep yelling at
testosterone. I feel like I want to talk to the manager, because certain things did not come through.
I will donate my eyebrows to you. Mine are trying to be like Frida Kahlo, so I got you.
But I want to say the most freeing moment for me mentally, because I feel like, and I've heard this before from other guys, it's 80% mental, 20% physical. Yes. So I had a lot of self chatter for years. Especially when you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then, the waiting and the letters and this and that, Yes. But that first shot, I'm driving home and I'm just like, it's just quiet inside, And then over the time, over weeks, over the years, you're just like, it's so nice to just have nothing there. It's just, you have your one thought, one stream of consciousness, and it's pretty much quiet. That was the hardest part. Chelsea would be talking to me, and it'd be like I was in a crowded bar. I couldn't hear anything she was saying, because it's just me perseverating, and negative self-talk. It was horrible, actually. So that was the most freeing moment. That first shot of tea, everything was quiet, and it's been quiet ever since, thank God.
Yeah.
I never even heard you articulate it like that.
Oh, yeah. It was bad.
I think you're probably the first person to articulate the way I thought about it. It's a sense of peace that just falls over your whole mind, and I mean, it's my entire life, it's just constant chaos, and then when you're finally at peace with who you're becoming, it's just quiet.
Right.
I don't think anybody's ever said. I mean, I think you probably articulated it better than I could have ever thought of it. Wow.
Because it's true,
I could see the switch, but I didn't realize that's what was going on.
Yeah, because you're like, okay, I got to sit like this. I can't be like this. I can't talk like this. I can't hold my hands like this. I can't do this. I have to wave like this. I can't wave like this. It's so much.
It is. It's a lot.
So much.
It's a lot of, am I standing right? Am I sitting right? Am I communicating right? Am I presenting right? Am I doing this right? And then it's just quiet. And it's nice to feel quiet. I really do understand that.
Right. So then you could just I was able to just be.
Yeah.
And just exist, and I don't have to worry about I don't I was still you always. I really don't care what other people say about me, but pre-T, that's what I was always worried about. And then after that, it was this I don't care what anybody else says. It's quiet in here. I'm good.
Yeah, it's quiet in here. And I can kind of relate a little bit, and I feel a little bad because I know, it's like I'm gonna die if I don't transition, and that it feels like that. It feels.
Yeah,
it feels like
but right before my top surgery, I had one of those moments because we had like this crazy day. It was summertime, and then I had to get an EKG. That was the final hurdle for me to get, to top surgery. And of course, it came back abnormal.
Oh, of course.
Of course, it came
back.
Of course.
Abnormal. Why would it not?
And then the doctor's like, "Oh, unfortunately, I can't clear you for surgery if this is abnormal." And I'm like, "I don't care. Like, I'll pay her. Like, I need to get on this table. I cannot anymore." But thankfully everything worked out. But it's that serious. Like, I don't think people realize how critical gender affirming surgeries are for us mentally, because a lot of people will not be here if they were not able to get those surgeries.
No, I understand. We went to Hawaii for a honeymoon, and it was pre-top surgery, but with testosterone. And what person doesn't want to go to Hawaii and like go swimming and all that stuff? So I was just doing my best to like be like, I don't care. I'm in this like top compression thing with some some boxers on and my back. I don't even care at this moment. I just want to go scuba diving. I don't want to wear a whole suit in it, but like at the same time, you're also like, ah. And then, I mean, mind you, Hawaii, by the way, so surreal. If you haven't been, please go to the Big Island.
Yeah, we haven't been there yet. Puerto Rico's like our spot. Whenever we get a chance to go anywhere, it's always Puerto Rico. But there are other places. That's on our list.
The Big Island is the best because you have like the green sands, the black sands, the white sands. It's the furthest point in the United States, not Key West. Key West is not. Don't let Florida fool you. That's continental. But so it's the most southern part of the United States. They have the volcano where it's cold, and then Hilo where it rains all the time. So it's crazy because you have all different things. I absolutely love it. Super kid friendly too. So that's great. I might rant about Hawaii, but so after top surgery and stuff, it's like you kind of feel a little better, and then of course I don't know if you had this, but I experienced like this because like I have pretty prominent scarring, it's especially with my skin tones and my things changing color and stuff like. But for me, I actually sometimes still get self-conscious taking off my shirt. I don't know like if you ever experienced that or not, but I'm still struggling a little bit with that because I'm like, I have big scars because I do scar harder than other people with my my texture and stuff. So like I don't know how it was for you, but I'm still waiting for feeling comfortable.
You walk around.
Yeah, like I don't personally care.
I love it. I need to take a page from Chris.
I was 33 years. I earned taking off my shirt, but not to be vain, but I just kind of scan around the beach and I see the other human representations of body shapes and colors and sizes, and there is not one dude that cares on that beach. And I'm like, wow, like that's, full on crack over there. Like, I'm taking my shirt off.
Also, not to, like, you look built, though. I'm not gonna lie. You look good.
I'm more concerned with, the cupcakes and the burgers I consume. So it's more belly than it is chest. Chest, I don't care. The belly, I'm like, But then you see that one, there's always a crack on the beach, and you're good. Just focus on that. Take off that shirt.
All right, I'm excited for this summer. It'll be my first summer where I can technically take off my shirt because it'll be a year after surgery. Yeah. So I'm like excited to do that. I'm also covered in tattoos, so I'll probably end up having more tattoos.
Yeah. Once the water, oh my God, that's the best feeling. The first time in the water with nothing on. Yeah.
I'll definitely have to message you then when that happens.
Yeah, please do, because that's another freeing moment. That's like the top 3. Yeah.
Yeah, and how was he during recovery?
That is a whole.
I was not like. You make it sound horrible.
No, but that's only because it was the doctor's fault, though. They should have never released you. His recovery was harder than it should have been.
Oh no!
Because it was just the first night. Let me tell you what happened. So,
if everyone could see the facial expressions.
Don't spoil alert.
Okay.
Jeez, let's go this up. Okay. So the whole top surgery was an unpleasant, anxiety-ridden experience because they like processed me. They're like, okay, bye, kiss her goodbye. And I'm like, wow, we've been here 5 minutes. Okay, cool. And then you're sitting in that gown for hours. I was in there for hours. They had some kind of emergency.
Hours?
So the ER was not, the operating room was not available. So I'm sitting for hours and I'm just stress sweating.
Oh,
and I'm
no.
like, oh my God, like for hours.
And you couldn't eat.
And I couldn't eat.
So you're already hungry and you're probably dehydrated.
So this is like, my surgery was supposed to be 11.
I want to say 11 o'clock. Yeah.
11, and I didn't get into the OR until about 4.
Yeah, because we didn't leave until nighttime.
Right. So it was like,
That's
I'm just sitting there stress sweating. And then they're like,
time.
I'm like, did you forget about me? Like, because it's been, quite a few hours. And then I thought that it was going to be like the whole TV experience. You lay in the bed and then they roll you in. No, they had me walk into this OR. It looked like a crucifix setup. I was like, what? What? And like, I almost was like, nah, I'm good. And then one of the doctors or like the nurse, he saw me. He looked right in my face. He goes, you want to listen to some music? And I was like, yeah. He's like, tell me what to put on. I was like, all right, cool. So as they're strapping me down, I'm like,
they strapped you down?
He play on that song. That song started. That was it. That's all I remember.
They strapped you down?
Yeah, they're doing their thing. Like, it's run of the mill for them. Like, oh, I'm going to hook up.
My butt was not strapped down.
But, I'll never forget that. Like, he knew that I was going to bail. Like, he just had that foresight. And then he called me at that moment. But then I woke up. Chelsea woke me up. Like, that. I woke up half conscious to Chelsea waking me up. And I just kept saying to myself, stay up for Chelsea.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, they released him. And he you could tell on his face he wasn't...
ready.
Like, he wasn't all there.
Yeah.
But, we're on the ride home, because it's like an hour,
it was like
hour
an
and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Ride home, and he just started. He's like, I'm falling. Like, he felt like he was sliding off of the chair, and I'm like, you're right here. You're fine. And then he's out.
Oh,
not responsive, nothing. So we had to pull over on the side, and we have a big SUV, so there was not much room to like do anything.
It was back
he
to
woke
back
up
traffic. It was
one
like
time. He woke up right.
Traffic.
We woke up one time, but then it wasn't. I was like, no, this isn't right. Like,
that's
he
not
shouldn't be going
normal,
in it. So we ended up having to call an ambulance. They had to rush him, driving the wrong way on the highway just to get him to the local hospital that we were near. And it hit. What was your levels?
Like, I don't know. It was my blood pressure dropped significantly, and they were like, "Do you have an infection or something like that?" I'm like, "No, I just got out of surgery." And then they just pumped me with fluids, antibiotics, and I was fine the next day. But I just remember...
But it was the scariest experience, because I also couldn't stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because we had the kids at home. So
it was a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
So then even after, when you were okay and came back home, like, from that experience, like, I'm already feeling like, okay, this is taking way too long.
Mm-hmm.
Something must be wrong, but nobody can communicate with me. So when he finally, came to and I was able to come in, I was like, okay, I was a little, relieved. Okay, I can see him. He's talking to me. Okay, fine. Yeah. But that was like, it was so traumatic that I was losing sleep just watching him sleep. Just to make sure that he was still breathing in the gravity chair. Like,
I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I mean,
but it wasn't any fault of the surgery or anything. No. I guess I don't metabolize anesthesia as fast as I should.
No.
So they pumped me up with, regular dose for my height and weight, and, my body just didn't metabolize it. I know now.
Yeah, anytime you go in under, you're staying there.
Right, but that has nothing to do with the top surgery experience. I don't want to freak anybody out. But
no.
That was my personal experience. But I will say that I felt zero pain my entire recovery.
Yes, me too.
I felt absolutely nothing.
I know. I think the worst was sleeping for me. Mm-hmm. The worst was lower back pain from sleeping on my back that I hated sleeping on there.
But the gravity chair was what?
Yeah, the gravity chair saved me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome though. I mean, here you are now. Oh my goodness, you're alive.
Yeah, but no infection, no pain, nothing.
Awesome.
And the results were great. Like everything was.
Mm-hmm. But it was just my rate of metabolizing the anesthesia. That's the only complication I had.
Yeah, that's Wow. I'm definitely glad you. Well, you definitely glad that you made it.
Yeah,
Alex. To be here and stuff for you, but like, whew. Oh my God, my wife would have had a heart attack. So I can't imagine how you felt, Chelsea. Oh my God, I can't imagine how you felt. Because like I remember like the one thing I remember. So I did go in. I sat down and they separated. I wish she wasn't even allowed to come in the building with me because it was during COVID, you know. So I sat down. I sat in a bed in a gown. I was texting, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna come in," and they draw on me and talk to my doctors or draw on, and then they did wheel me in. Like, I had actually a sticky note on my chest that said, "I'm trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty." That was being a smart butt. But yeah, like I woke up and I got sick though. My body does not like anesthesia, so I was extremely nauseous, even on nausea meds. So she had to take me to she had to sit me up in the pharmacy, and she's like, and at the time we were in a rental car because we were in Florida, and she's like, what do I do with the keys? And apparently I just put my hand out like this for her to put the keys in my hand. I stayed there like that the entire time. And the keys in my hand. Don't remember much about it, but yeah, it was, infection just healed up pretty good, which was nice, but just doing a lot of scar care, I guess, now, which matters. So
massaging helps.
Which I've noticed, so I don't lose range of motion, because nobody tells you that you could lose range of motion. I learned that in a breast cancer group, actually. One of my friends is in a breast cancer group. She told me about it, so I was like, okay, that's good to know, which is really nice. So what would you say is the best takeaway for couples that are going through situations that are similar to ours? If you could give any advice in any world, like either of you, give any advice in any world about being with a partner that is supporting the one that's transitioning, because it is just as much as your journey, it is as much as his.
Oh, absolutely.
What would you talk about?
I think I would just drive that point home, what you just said, that, you have to just allow your part, like you've been struggling with this and going back and forth and trying to fix it for how many years? So you're already well versed in your own transition before you vocalize it. So just be a little patient with your partner to catch up to where you're at. Yeah.
And I was going to say the same thing, to be patient with the partner that is transitioning, because they're relearning themselves right before your eyes. So, be patient with the partner. Open and honest communication, that's like a must, for us at least. And to not lose sight, to still cut out time for yourself, because as the supportive partner, I was always, okay, now Chris's needs are number one, top priority. And then I felt like I was losing myself because I'm too concerned over how he's feeling and how this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I am supportive, but you have to draw a line just to make sure that you're still taking care of yourself.
Yeah, you can't empty your cup and fill up his if you were completely empty. So,
because the focus, the spotlight always goes to the person that's actually transitioning.
Rightfully so.
Right. But it's like, for me, I was like, look at this new hair. And you're like, don't care. Like after a while.
I did that too. Look at this new hair. Or my new favorite one is my. And then
it's like, oh, hey, Chelsea, but Chris, your mustache, you want to steal some of that spotlight.
Yeah. It is kind of funny though, because I think it was like a couple months ago. I didn't know I was getting hair in a certain area, and all of a sudden I started getting laughed at. So apparently my rear end is joining my head full of hair. So it's kind of funny though, because I had to stop kind of doing, look at this hair, look at this hair, look at this hair, because I kind of feel a little bit bad, and let her come to me. So I kind of think that that's a good thing too, is like let people come to you. We're excited when we are transitioning, so it's really exciting to do all of that, which is, and it is really beautiful to see a couple still support each other and love each other and uplift each other like that, because especially since you've been together for so long. I really love that. So I definitely want to thank you so much. And Chris, personally, if you had any advice for any young trans person of color, what would it be?
Find the light. Find the light. Don't get, it can get real dark sometimes. Yeah. Just take a step back, take a deep breath, and find the light, because what you're feeling is temporary. And it does get better. It does get better.
I love that. That's absolutely beautiful. And everybody, as we know, I just said in the beginning, but please, if you want to reach out to them, find out more information, they are LBC Party of 5 on TikTok and on Instagram. Did I get correctly?
Yes, that's it.
And full disclosure, they are my favorite couple, so just gonna let you know that. And as always, everybody, live with purpose and live your truth.
Thank you for listening to Transforming with Us. You can like, follow, and share on all major platforms to keep up with all things trans and queer.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.
Thank you for listening to Transforming with Us. You can like, follow, and share on all major platforms to keep up with all things trans and queer.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.